Okay.
All right, everybody, welcome to AVNow's Virtual Instruction and Streaming Solutions broadcast. We're here to talk about solutions that will help you be successful in your streaming of your classes to your members. We have Ken Lyon as your presenter today. I'll be hosting. My name is Carl Hebner, and we both work on staff here at AVNow, and we're here to help you get the best practices in place for yourself so you can have the highest quality classes through your virtual platform. And right away, I'll hand it over to Ken. And Ken, please feel free to share the items that you found to be successful in your testing and then solutions that we've come up with based on kind of the struggling blocks that we've come across in our tech support for customers and other best practices that they can deploy.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Just giving people a couple seconds to get joined in here. We're going to go ahead and use the Q&A feature of Zoom. So down at the bottom of your screen on most devices, you're going to see a Q&A. And you can go ahead and put your questions there, and we'll get to as many as we can during this session. And so I just wanted to give a quick overview of what we've found over testing a lot of different products and a lot of different connections and adapters and things, is we found there's really four main ways that people are using to pick up voice and music into their streaming platform. So I know a lot of instructors just need voice, but a good majority of people seem to want voice and music, which is, like it is at the club. So the first way to do that is with a room microphone that picks up music playing out of a speaker in the room and your voice. So there's a couple of different examples. I've got one here that's attached to an iPad. And this one here is from Shure. It's called an MV88. You can hook that. It's got a little lightning adapter on it. You can plug that straight into an iPad or an iPhone that has a lightning port on it. And you can set it up. We've got these little mounts that are pretty cool that are kind of spring loaded, and you can attach it to a mic stand, or we have them in a kit with a little desktop stand. So you can get it just how you want it. And so you can see yourself. So that mic is going to pick up a pretty decent sounding picture of the room in audio. So you get a music playing in the room, get it to a nice level, and you're talking and it's picking you both up. So that's the first category, is a room mic. And there's a couple of different options that we've tested and liked. And we've also put a lot of sound samples for these products on our website. Actually doing that job, playing music in the room and picking up the sound so you can hear what it actually sounds like to do that. So on the product page for the Shure MV88, Carl, you want to pull that up? Oh, while Carl's doing that, I can show you another example. There's a little kit here. I've got my phone here, and this is a kit, another one from Shure, where they've got a little room mic here, and then it comes with a tripod to hold your phone, and it comes with adapter cables to go right into your phone's port. It comes with both Lightning and USB. And so this whole little kit, you just pop it up somewhere and it's picking up the sound in the room. So Carl's showing you the MV88 with the Lightning port. If you scroll down a little bit, Carl, you can show folks there's a little player there, and you can actually play and get a sound sample of that exact mic doing that exact job. So that's the first category, is a room mic. The second way to pick up voice and music, and a lot of people are doing that, is using a mixer like this one that has a USB port. The USB, sorry, tapped my microphone. The USB port is important because that hooks directly in your computer. It takes all the analog audio signals that you plug into it, converts them into a digital signal, and you can basically put that straight into your stream. So if you already have a wireless mic system that you were using at your facility when it was rocking and open, you can take that mic, plug it in here. You can play music off of a phone, iPod, iPad, something like that, plug that music feed directly into here. And then you can set a little blend using the white knobs down here at the bottom of what your participants are hearing. So that's the cleanest, most direct sound that we've found, is to go ahead and just use a mixer. And we've got a few different kits and packages that use this exact mixer. And some that include a mic system, and some for folks who already have a mic system to just add their own. So I can go back and answer questions about all of these setups. I'm just giving the overview of what we found as the big 4 ways to do voice over music. So room mic, then a mixer. The other way is a lapel microphone. I'm wearing one here, and it's hard to see because it's black on black, but this here is a little lapel microphone, also called a lavalier. Really, for the first 25 years of AV Now, focused on the fitness industry, we didn't sell a lot of lavalier microphones because most folks doing fitness you don't need to pick up a big sound around them. Well, now a lot of people do. So if you wear a lapel microphone and you get it dialed in right, you can use it kind of like the room mic, where it'll not just pick up your voice because it's down here and it's a omnidirectional microphone, meaning it picks up all around. You can play music from a speaker in the room and actually use the lapel mic to not only pick up your voice, but a blend of voice and music. And there's a few different options like that on our website, again, with sound samples. So that's the third way. And then the fourth way, it's kind of a weird one, but there's a product called the Go Mic Mobile from Samsung. So it's a wireless mic system designed to plug directly into a smartphone. So this is the receiver part of that. And it comes with adapters to go to Lightning. It comes with adapters to go to USB-C. It comes with an adapter to even go into the 3.5 millimeter port on a phone or a iPad that has one. And the cool thing about it is this one receiver can pick up this wireless signal from 2 transmitters at the same time. So what we did is we started putting stuff together until we found a way where you can do one transmitter pack that you wear that has a headset mic on it, head-worn mic that'll pick you up. Put that one on backwards immediately. Sorry. That'll pick up your voice. Then you've got a second transmitter with the kit, and it has a little adapter just to plug in something that has a headphone jack. So you can directly get a music feed on this transmitter and a headset mic feed on the other transmitter, and they'll both get picked up and directly into your smartphone or tablet. Android, iOS, both work really well. And you can get a direct blend of both of those right into your system, into your stream. So that's the overview of the 4 ways that we found. And we've got a blog post on our website now that we can share that breaks down an example of all of those, and again with sound samples and links to the kits. So I think now I will start jumping into some questions. So all
right,
Carl,
so let's
go ahead with that
question we have. Pull up the Behringer Mixer, and we had somebody who asked a question about using their AirPods with this. Is there a way to do that?
There's not. This is analog in and digital out, but there's nothing wireless on this. So there's no Bluetooth directly built into this. And in my experience so far, trying to use Bluetooth devices as a microphone, especially for streaming, isn't going to sound really great. Carl, just nod if you can do that quick test for folks. Okay, so I'm going to have Carl jump on. He's going to show you the difference between his nice microphone and his essentially the Beats version of AirPods real quick so you can hear it.
All right, so everybody, right now I'm talking through a Shure microphone. If you see it in the picture right here, this is a lot like what a high-end lapel microphone would be. And I'm going to switch over to my Beats headset. So right now I'm wearing these Beats headsets. I'm going to switch over to those as the microphone, and this is what that sounds like. Okay, I'm now talking through my Beats headset microphone. Can you all hear me clearly? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but everybody I think should be able to tell that that's a pretty big difference in sound.
So some people will also want to use the microphone built into the laptops, and You know, it tends to be one of the least invested things in a laptop. They don't design the microphones to pick up a lot of sound that's clear. And here's an example of what it sounds like. The exact same room with my MacBook Pro speaker microphone. All right, I'm now talking through the MacBook Pro microphone. So you can hear there's a lot more ambient sound from the room in that microphone. I'm going to switch back to the microphone I have through. All right, I'm back to the regular microphone. So that's the example of a Bluetooth headset, a laptop area microphone, and then also a dedicated microphone, a lot like what Ken would be wearing. He has a lapel on that he's speaking through.
Yeah, so that gives you an idea of the difference in sound quality you can get from something like AirPods. So the other thing is that Bluetooth specifically is really going to be, as far as the microphones send from an AirPod, it's really going to be dialed in and compressed and encoded to really emphasize just the kind of voice, and it's a bit tinny, so it really doesn't work well for picking up music. So that's another reason that the lapel microphone, again, while the lapel microphone itself isn't necessarily designed to pick up music, it's a high quality microphone that's going to pick up sound evenly through the room, and there's nothing in the system that's going to change the sound to like optimize it just for voice. So that happens a lot with Bluetooth headsets.
Hey, Ken, let's jump over to the music side of this.
Okay.
Let's talk about how do we get good, clean audio from your music into your stream. What about Bluetoothing? Is that a good way to go? Should I plug a cable in? Is there any reason why I shouldn't use my laptop if I'm streaming from a laptop?
Yeah, so this is something that it comes up a whole lot, is people have got Spotify loaded on their laptop and they want to just play Spotify through their stream and then also have microphone over it. That doesn't work super well. There's a lot of reasons that doesn't work well, but most systems like Zoom, which I know a lot of folks are using, Zoom, if you share your screen, you can get the system to send the audio from your computer that's playing inside your computer, basically, like on Spotify. But that does not allow you to also mix in an external feed. So in all the tests we've done, the best way has been to play your music from something besides the device you're using to stream. So say I'm using my Android phone to stream. The best way to do it is to play music off of something else, a tablet, a computer, an iPod, things like that. Because then you're getting a direct, well, first of all, the computer's not competing with trying to send sound through two different pieces of software, which they don't like doing very much. And the other thing is you can have control, especially if you're using something like a mixer like this, easily. You can send a little more music to your participants, and you can also have a separate feed where you can just send a little more music to your speaker in the room that they're not hearing easily. There's just a knob, and you know, we've got guides and a YouTube video on how to set this, how to plug everything in. We've got diagrams, and we've got a quick run through. Same as when you're using the room mic here, is trying to play music back off of that phone isn't going to sound very good. And then trying to play music back off that phone out to a speaker and then also using that phone for a streamer is not the best way to go about it in our test. It makes it really tricky.
Great. Ken, can you show us exactly how, using that Behringer mixer, how would I do it so that I can still hear the music for my classes? Because I need to cue off that music for my class.
Right.
And is it beneficial to be playing the music through a big sound system in the room and then picking it up through my microphone that I'm wearing? What are the benefits and the drawbacks of doing it both ways?
So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So on this mixer, this specific one, which we can send out a link, there's a thing called the effects send. So whatever, so say you've got your microphone plugged in here, and this is the volume to send to your participants. You get another just a feed right here, the effects send, just to go to a speaker in the room. The reason that's cool is if you're wearing a head-worn microphone, like most people are used to teaching with, that head microphone is not going to pick up the sound of the music playing in the room. It's just going to pick up your voice, so that you can really specifically get a really clean voice signal and a really clean music signal out to your participants. And then using that mixer, you can just turn up the effects send just to send music to the speakers playing in the room. And you can get it to the level that you like without affecting what is going to the stream at all. So you have a completely separate volume control for your speaker just to get the energy that you want or don't want, or your neighbors don't want. And it goes both ways. And you can also send the level that sounds good for your participants at the same time. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, I think that kind of it hits home to what people are doing now. How can we increase the video quality of what we're doing? Are there different factors that come into play on how the video comes across on video to a streaming platform rather than capturing something like on my phone as a picture?
There's a few different factors, but if you're doing things like Zoom is going to compress the video quality based on your internet connection, and also on the other end based on your participants' internet connection. So those are factors. So you can get a good quality webcam that may be better than the one on your laptop. That's what I'm doing now. I've got a little webcam hooked up to my laptop, and that's what you're seeing me through. The other thing is the cameras on phones these days and iPads, tablets like that, specifically iPads and phones, are really good. But one thing that a lot of people forget about is that there's two cameras on a smartphone these days. There's the one on the screen side, or it's called the selfie cam, and then there's the one on the back that you usually use to take pictures with. The two different cameras on most devices are really different in quality. The one on the back is usually a lot higher quality than the one on the front. So that's a little bit disappointing for people who are now trying to do classes and stream on those devices, because they want to be able to see what they're doing and frame themselves. So what some people do is just join the meeting from a laptop and a phone, and then use the phone as the camera that is actually doing the streaming, and then use a computer or something like that, just so they can see what's going on, if they want that highest quality video without going out and purchasing an external camera.
What about hearing our participants during the class? Is there a way to get feedback from our participants so that if somebody has something that they want to chime in to say in the middle of a class, if they have some sort of interaction, how do they do that?
So there's a couple of different ways, it depending on where things are positioned in your room. A lot of times what I've done is I'll just leave the laptop speakers on just for that. So, laptop speakers, they don't sound that great for music playback, but they cut through and you can hear them pretty well if you got them cranked up when people just want to have a question. I know not everybody's doing two-way conversations, and a lot of people are recording and streaming on Facebook and things like that. So it doesn't apply to everybody, but you can definitely either play back from your laptop speakers, or you can use AirPods or earbuds as just a monitor, just to listen to your participants. I like to do that with only one in, because then I can still hear the music in the room if you're going to go that way. So there's some ways to do that. But in my experience, using something like the mixer or a lapel microphone, you don't want to try to route the audio back from Zoom through the same system, because it is possible to get a feedback loop, and you definitely don't want that. But right now, I can tell you I'm talking on this lapel microphone, but I'm listening to what Carl's saying through my laptop speakers, just the little built-in ones. And so that works well. And in all of our testing, that's probably been my favorite way to do it. And just a note to people, We're going to get to as many questions as we can. Carl's reading them off, but if we don't get to them, we can definitely reach out and answer them by email afterwards.
It looks like let's talk on Sammy Gardu has a question. And Sammy has a Q802 mixer, and no matter what Sammy does, Zoom users can't really hear the mic very well or the music from their phone. So how would Sammy best approach getting this cleanly through? If she has the 802 already, would you suggest maybe connecting that directly into the mixer and then allowing the voice and the music to go through the stream as one digital broadcast?
Yeah. So I've personally done some tech support using that setup. And in most cases, well, in every case, we've got it to work. So in most cases, it was something like in Zoom, it wasn't set to the right thing. So in Zoom specifically, now,
you can see that.
What's that?
I'll pull the preferences up on my screen and share that so you can see.
So you want to make sure that your microphone is what Zoom calls it, is set to whatever you're using. So right now, Carl's got his microphone set to his Scarlett 2i2 USB. A lot of people just aren't setting that to the right thing out of the box. So when you plug in a USB device, you're going to want to select USB. So I know when I plug in this Behringer to the computer, it says USB audio codec. You select that as the microphone, and the streaming platform like Zoom will immediately do that. It'll take whatever's plugged into that mixer and send it through the Zoom feed. So that's one thing. If that's selected and your mixer's powered on, and again, we can absolutely do tech support offline, but you on that mixer, you want to make sure that you're using the white knobs down at the bottom to set a blend, and that is what goes out to your participants. So the main thing is make sure the USB cable is plugged into the computer, and make sure that your streaming service is set to listen to that input.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on something else. The question was asked earlier, how do I listen to people? You see where it says speaker on my settings here. So K-Mixman is my Bluetooth Beats headsets, but you can see I have other options to choose from in my menu. So you just select the device you want to use for monitoring your feed. So if you have a pair of iPods or AirPods, you can select that as your test, your speaker for, your monitoring of your Zoom feed. So other participants, like I hear Ken through my headset. So that's kind of a key thing to the success of monitoring what's happening in your class if you have people giving you live audio feedback.
Okay. All right. Next question, Carl.
All right. So let's see. I think that answers all the questions I'm seeing in here at this point. Let me jump over to Q&A and see what we got over there.
So I see, I'm thinking that means from Sharon, can the room mic work with your PC or the music coming from the phone? The room mic, I think the question is referring to a room microphone like the one we have on the iPad here, or the one I've got on my phone here. Can that pick up music well just from stuff playing off of a phone or a laptop? If you're talking about the built-in speakers on a smartphone or a laptop, I'm going to say probably not. Those speakers are very small. They don't have a lot of bass, so you're not going to really get the energy of the room in the room. So I think the quick answer to that is it should be playing back on speakers that sound how you want them to sound, and then these nice microphones will pick it up pretty close to just how it sounds to you in the room.
And then Jessica's asking about lighting recommendations we have for filming a fitness video.
Lighting recommendations?
So going into a lightning connection, would a ring lighting system work well? And
lighting, I think she's asking about lighting, Carl, not lightning. Yeah, so I mean, my recommendation, and again, this is just a really basic overview, is typically for video, you want to have a light coming from the front, and then either one on the side or slightly behind you if you really want to light yourself up well. But yeah, a ring light around the camera does work well as the front light. But if you can, and what I've got, I'm in a, our abandoned, not abandoned, but not used in a long time conference room here. So I've got overhead lights up in the ceiling, but I brought in a light over there, and I've got a light over there just to try to fill in, because a lot of times in video you definitely want to have some light coming from the side to give contrast and detail to your outline. So that's just kind of a basic, really basic 101 lighting. And yeah.
I got a question from Amy McCarthy. What if we have a sound system that doesn't have a USB output, like the Fender Passport? Is there a way to connect that to your computer to utilize the speakers and their own mic?
Yes, but not directly. So basically the Fender Passport, and it's a portable PA system like that, or most of the sound systems you have in your facilities throughout the throughout the club, they're not going to have any way to convert analog to digital, and that's why the mixer with the USB port works well. Now what we have is there's another product on our website now. It's the Behringer UMC202, which is just a 2-channel, meaning left and right, so a stereo analog to digital converter. So it's just a little box. Carl can possibly pull it up in a second. So you would plug the outputs of your sound system into that device. That device would take that, convert it to digital so that you could select it in your computer as the audio feed. So really basic. There's just 2 inputs there. So you take 2 outputs of something like a Fender Passport, or the built-in sound system in your room, or something like that that it has outputs. Plug them right into the front inputs of this, and then the USB output of this would take the signal from that. So you'll be able to hear in the room the mix, voice and music coming through those speakers. And then if you take an output of that sound system and plug it into this, your participants can hear the same mix in your stream that you're hearing in the room through those speakers. The only drawback with that, that I can see, is that you're sending the microphone to the speakers in the room, and when you're live with a microphone and speakers, which I'm sure a lot of you know, feedback can happen in the room. And feedback is just the sound of the microphone picking itself up through the speakers, and it makes a loop and gets that, ringing sound. So you just have to be strategic on where you place your speakers when you're doing that live in a room like that.
I got a question from Lori Mooney. With the Galaxy Trek lavalier mic, where do you recommend putting the music speaker? In front of you, behind you? I used it this morning, and I couldn't hear the music very loud, but it was loud in the room.
Okay, interesting. So, so the Galaxy Trek is it's a wireless mic system where it's got a lapel microphone that's hardwired onto a little transmitter that you clip on, and then it's got a receiver, and the whole system is $79.99, and it comes with all kinds of different adapters. Pretty cool. So this is the receiver part, and you plug this in to the 3.5 millimeter jack on your device. So, yep. Okay, so yeah, Carl's showing you all the different stuff it comes with. But to answer the question is, how do you get a good sound from speakers in the room on a lapel microphone like the Galaxy Trek? So in my experience, it works well to have the speaker in front of you facing you, right? So because the microphone's here, so you want to get the best blend you can by physically moving the speaker into the right spot where your voice is still going to be louder than the speaker right here. So what I've done in the tests that you can hear on our website is I had 2 speakers, a stereo set of speakers, in front of me, probably 5-6 feet in front of me, playing back this way, and then I was talking at the camera, and that was a great blend, because if you put them behind you, the microphone is going to be blocked by your body, and the acoustic shadow of your body is going to block the sound coming from behind you from getting to right here. It'll get there. It'll just be muffled, and it'll, take longer to get around you. So it's not going to be as direct of a sound. So hopefully that answers, in my experience, in front of you, pointed this way. And you just have to kind of play it. It varies by room and by speaker and by which lapel microphone you've got. So you just kind of have to physically do a little bit of experimentation to find the sweet spot. But usually just in front of you, pointed towards your chest.
Hey, Ken, Crystal is asking, will a Shure eMic headset work as well as a lavalier?
It will work great for picking up your voice. It will not work well for picking up music in the room. An eMic headset is a head-worn microphone. This isn't one, but this is a very similar, shape. See if you can kind of see that. The type with the flexible boom arm that you wear like this. Those work great for picking up your voice. They are designed, though, to reject the sound from everywhere else. So if you've got music playing live in the room, a headset mic's not going to pick it up. Now, for that reason, that's why I really like using a headset microphone when I'm using the mixer, because the voice signal is going to just be that really close pickup of your voice, and it's not going to be picking up the speaker playing music in the room, and your participants are going to get the music direct, not listening to the room at all.
All right, I got another question here from Steffi. Will a mic help my Zoom attendees hear me without the lag time? And they're saying that the sound breaks up when they play music. So what causes lag time? Why is that a thing?
That's 100% has to do with your internet connection and the internet connection on the other end. I am doing this Q&A from our office, which has a very nice internet connection. And not from my home, because while I've been working from home, my internet connection where I live, because I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, is really bad. So I can't do really good streaming feeds because of the slow internet connection there. So a lot of people, unfortunately, are in that situation. So they're trying to teach classes, but either on their end or on the participants' end, you're getting a lag because the internet connection needs to be really fast to do video. Now, what was the second part of that question?
Second part of the question is, they just said that the music tends to break up when the voice and the music are together through the stream.
Right. So there's a lot of different reasons that can be happening. But one thing is, for example, on Zoom, and we can send this information out because we don't want to get too far in the weeds on Zoom menus, but there is a feature in Zoom specifically, and some other platforms, where it automatically is processing the sound because it's designed for conferencing originally, and still mostly used that way. It smashes the sound essentially so that it's optimized for voice, and it automatically tries to turn down background noise on the fly using digital signal processing. Now, there's a way you can turn that off in Zoom. It's called Preserve Original Sound or Preserve Original Audio. And we can send out some information about how to do that on different devices. But that's one reason that when you're trying to broadcast voice and music at the same time, your streaming platform might be doing that to you because it's designed to just pick up voice. So some of them have the feature where you can turn that off.
Hey, Ken, I've seen a couple questions. I'm going to lump a few together here. I got people starting from scratch and they need to know what they need in order to do this. Are there any kind of bundles that we can look at putting together for these people so that they can have the broadcast of the music and the voice into the computer, but also so they can still hear themselves? I mean, they're doing it out of their house, so they don't have any setup.
Right. So again, two main ways to do that. There's the room mic approach. If you've got a way to play music in your room, just a basic, any kind of speaker that you listen to music on, then the room mic kit makes sense. So like something like this Shure video mic kit, where it's got a tripod to hold your phone. And if you've got a way to play music, this kit is killer for that. Now, if if you want to go, starting from scratch and then get all the way to, as far as we're concerned, probably the most cost-effective way to get a really pro setup. It's we put together a couple of kits, one being like the virtual content creator kit. So we get this question a lot. I don't have anything at my house. Everything is at work or locked away, or I didn't own my own gear to start with. So we put together this package, for example, where it's got a wireless mic system, it's got the mixer, it's got a couple of speakers to play music back through, and then it's got all the cables, connections that you would need. So starting from scratch, you just need to add a laptop. And on here, it does say for use with laptop. However, you can see that there's a couple of different adapters in the frequently bought together. One being a USB to Lightning and one being a USB-A to USB-C. So if you're starting from scratch, a kit like this will get you high quality voice pickup. You plug your music player directly in the mixer, so you get the pure audio from the music feed, and you get a couple of speakers to play back the music in the room, so you can feel the energy and you can hear what you're doing as far as cueing. And then depending on what you're plugging it into, you may need a little adapter to get into your device. But you can not only plug this straight into a computer, you can also, with an adapter, plug it into an iPhone, an iPad, an Android phone, MacBook with the USB. So there's a lot of different options for something like that. So that's the starting from scratch. We also have another kit that's really similar to that. It just doesn't have a mic system because we've got the question a lot. Okay, I already have a mic system, but I don't have anything else. So a lot of people own their own mic system that they bring to work at different facilities. And so if you already have a mic system, there's a really similar kit to what we were just looking at. It just doesn't have the mic, but it has the mixer, has all the connection cables, and it has a couple of speakers.
Great. Let's see. Let's jump to a more recent question here. I got Patrick. I'm trying to avoid background noise of the air conditioner without turning it off. What options do I have to best filter out that sound?
Well, the old, audio version is just get away from it. Obviously, if you can't get away from the thing in the room that's making the sound, there's a few different things you can do. Just physically, you could put something between the sound and your microphone. And again, the head-worn microphone approach is great for eliminating external sound. So if you are like me and you have little kids running around the house while you're trying to work, or if you have loud neighbors or you live right by a freeway, a lot of things. The headset microphone, and there's a lot of different ones available, but like something like this where you put it on, it's going to be the best at eliminating background noise because it's the closest to your voice. So in that way, that's my number one answer is do the mixer setup and have a head-worn microphone. And especially if you're only using my voice and you don't need music in your stream, you can get a head-worn microphone, and then there's a couple of different ways. You can do something like the Galaxy Trek that we talked about earlier with the little receiver. They make a headset version that we offer. And there's different products where you can plug it straight into your computer. If you're just doing voice, that's the best. If you're trying to avoid background noise and you're doing something like a room microphone, that's going to be trickier. But you should know that most microphones, like this one we've got plugged into the iPad here, or the one on the phone, it picks up where it's pointed, and the back of the microphone rejects sound the best out of everything. That's not universal for all microphones, but on these models and most microphones that you're going to see, the back of the mic rejects the sound. So you always want to point the back of the microphone at what you're trying to avoid picking up if you can. So those are the two. And then if you were talking on a lapel microphone, obviously those are going to pick up quite a bit. But again, you can use your body as a shield and point your back at what you're trying to reject.
I got a question from Nina Smith. I'll take this one. She's asking, what kind of connectors and cables are needed to connect the Behringer Mixer to your MacBook Pro, and your MacBook desktop? So the Behringer will connect to any computer via USB-A. So in the newer MacBook Pros, they have USB-C connectors. So you just need a USB-C to USB-A connector. For the old lightning adapters on phones, I think we have one of those as well. Ken, do you have that? So this guy right here is what you would use. So anything that has the converter to a USB-A will connect into whatever device you have, and it'll recognize that mixer in the system as an audio feed.
Right. Yeah. USB-A is the really, when you think of USB, most people are thinking of USB-A. There's USB-B, which is what's on the back of this mixer. This the same one they use for printers, so it's almost a square. And then now the newer, MacBooks and Android phones and a lot of things are using USB-C, which is a smaller one. So, but basically, there's a lot of really inexpensive adapters that you can get, and a lot of people already own them to be able to get from USB-A into whatever device they have.
I got a question, and there's two questions here from Winnie, and part of it's going to be a preference thing, but I'm going to throw it out there. Is there a better live streaming platform than Zoom? And if my interest is more of a webinar than interactive. So there are a lot of ways to do that. Any type of conferencing broadcast platform is going to be what you want for a webinar type product where you can get feedback from your attendees. So Zoom in this case handles that pretty well with question and answers, a chat feature, things like that. There are other platforms out there. This tends to be the most popular that everybody's kind of gravitated to, and their footprint has increased quite a bit since the shelter in place has happened in the U.S.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we don't necessarily, endorse or recommend any specific streaming platform, but I guess to answer your question, if it's, if you're just broadcasting, meaning there's no interaction, it's you're streaming, I would say to avoid a conferencing app like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, things like that, because they just, again, they tweak the sound for voice, so you're not gonna get the music. But the other end of it is, if you're using something like YouTube Live or Facebook, you do need to consider what music you're playing, and make sure that you're playing back music that is either licensed for that, or basically I can't give too much legal advice on here, but I know that Facebook Live and YouTube Live, things like that, they will shut down your stream if you're playing back copywritten music, and kind of have to leave it at that.
So we answered this earlier, but I'll give you the second half of Winnie's question. So Winnie has a great webcam and has a wireless mic for going into the stream, but how do I monitor my feed? And we talked about this earlier, but if you want to retouch on that, that'd be great.
Meaning using a mixer?
I see what I'm doing and
see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right now, if you've got a great webcam, the answer is whatever software you're using, you pull it up on a computer screen typically. Also, the webcam I'm using, it has also an HDMI output, as does my laptop. So HDMI is a really universal, way to hook video between devices. So most TVs have an HDMI input, and a whole lot of computer monitors have it as well. So you can typically take an HDMI feed from your webcam or your computer out to a bigger monitor, and that's what a lot of people are doing. Just taking a feed so that they can get it onto a bigger screen, so that they can be farther away from the camera. Because I mean, again, you're not going to be teaching a fitness class sitting in front of your laptop like I am, so you're going to be farther away. So if your screen is small or you're streaming from your phone, there's a few different ways to like cast it, or what's the Apple TV, AirPlay, things like that, that can broadcast your video signal out to a bigger screen, if that helps.
Awesome. Heidi has a question. I have a Behringer Ultra Voice XM8500 microphone with an XLR connection, and my question and answers just got bumped up. There we go. All right. And can I use the mic as a room mic, or how would I connect that 1/4-inch male to like an iPhone?
Interesting. I don't know what kind of mic that is, Carl. What type of microphone is that?
So it's a standard. It's Behringer's like XLR output microphone. So I think what you're trying to do, you can do through the Behringer X802, because it will allow you to convert that quarter-inch signal into a signal that you can patch into your phone through the dongle.
You're talking about the Q802.
Yeah.
Q802. Yeah. So this has just regular microphone inputs on it. So if you hook this into your computer, you can plug any microphone or wireless mic system into this, and that'll convert the signal to digital and put it into your stream. You know, there may be some other way to do that as far as using adapters. But as far as getting the right level, and a lot of microphones, you know, require quite a lot of boost to get up to the level where they're audible. So you need something called a microphone preamp. Well, that's built in here. So typically, if you just grab a random microphone off the street and you need to get that, you know, into a feed, you need a microphone preamp, you need an analog to digital converter, and then you need to get that into your computer. A mixer with a USB output is the best way to do that, typically. Now there are some adapters that have varying levels of success that we've tested, but nothing that really passed our quality test.
Great. You know, let's touch on that as far as audio feed and the volume of audio feed into a stream. How do I know if I'm not overdriving or if it's too quiet? Is there a way for me to test that?
Yeah. Most streaming software has an audio level test, you know, even, you know, and then built into both Mac and Windows. You know, if you go into the settings, it's going to have a little meter, usually a left to right meter. Some of them are an up and down meter. And if it's in the red or it's not moving, you know, you need to back it off. The Behringer Mixer that we've been showing does have some light up meters on it. So you can tell with the lights whether you're overdriving. And also on the mixer, they're pretty small, but they light up red if you're overdriving. And they have one on the first two channels, which is cool because you can tell if your mic's overdriving, that red light will come on. It says clip. The other thing is, so if you were using one of these Shure microphones, the sort of room mic style, they have an app, and I can possibly show you what that looks like here. Okay, so that app has an audio meter in it, and that app can record and it can control the microphone, but it's really handy. So before you go live on your stream, you can just pop open the app, the Shure app that you get when you get the microphone. You just download it from the App Store. It's free. And you can use that as sort of your level check on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android phone, and then go live, and you'll know that your stream is where it's supposed to be. The app for sure, it's called Motiv, M-O-T-I-V, and it's got a controller, so you can control the sensitivity of the microphone. So you can turn it up and down right here with this slider, and then just make sure it's not into the red.
How would I know if I were getting ready to set up my first stream? What would be a great way for me to audit my stream to make sure that I'm not messing up on the other end?
Yeah. Again, it depends on your software, but you can, some of them can record. And so you can do a test and you can record it and then play it back and see how it sounds. The other is to, you know, recruit a family member or a friend to just be your test audience remotely. And that's pretty easy if you're doing a conference app like Zoom. You can just send them the link and they can log in and do it. Those have been the ways I've done it. And Carl's been on the receiving end of a lot of those tests, as has the rest of the staff.
Is there a limit to how many people I can have in a class?
That is completely dependent on your software. Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump to Debbie Grant. If I use something like a Galaxy Track with Zoom, would I still want to use my Shure mic or still want to use my Share Music function in Zoom?
No, again, in something like Zoom, when you share the music directly from your computer, it's going to override whatever's on the microphone input. So again, best practice that we've found so far. And again, there may be some apps that do this differently, but even with that, I think best practice is to play the music from a different device than the one you're streaming on.
Awesome. I've got another one from Jennifer Ellis. I have a Bose portable PA and a wireless mic headset system. I believe my portable PA has a mixer built in, but I don't know what cables I need in order to send my sound directly to my laptop. Can I stream it directly from my Bose sound system?
Well, as to answer your first part of the question, just send us an email with what you have, and we'll tell you exactly what cables that you need. Now, the question of whether you can stream directly from a sound system, I think we went over that a little bit, but typically the answer is no. You can use it as a monitor for yourself to hear in the room, and you can use a portable PA as a mixer if it's got that functionality built in. But what it's not going to have in almost all cases is that analog to digital conversion, which is where we add in something like the mixer or the little Behringer converter box that we talked about earlier. Just some way to capture that analog, change it into digital so that your streaming device can take it. So again, any of these questions that didn't get fully answered, just please feel free, shoot us an email, and we'll get right back to you to clarify anything.
Great. And finally, if I didn't buy something from you, would you still help me out?
Yes, and we've been doing a lot of it, and we've always done that all the way back since AV Now started. The mission has always been to just help out the fitness industry with this technical stuff, because it's not most fitness instructors' area of expertise. We know that, and teaching a fitness class isn't my area of expertise. So we work together. So to answer the question, if you didn't buy anything from us and you have a question, shoot us an email, and we will do our best to answer it. And we're here to help, and hopefully we can get everybody streaming really high quality sound, and your participants making them happy, keep people coming back, keep people engaged. And yeah, I mean, if you didn't buy it from us, we may not be experts on it the way we are with the stuff that we carry and we test and we use, but we're happy to help.
All right, another great question. So this is great for what we have going on right now as far as live streaming and taking care of our classes. Can we use any of this gear in the future, and how would we repurpose it, or is there a benefit to continuing live streams?
Well, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, a lot of it can be repurposed, absolutely. And I think, we're also trying to think beyond this. I mean, obviously there's going to be a time when all the gyms are going to be open again, but I think a lot of people are still going to, not 100% jump back in right away. So obviously there's that. Then streaming and virtual classes have a ton of benefit even after this is all over. So a lot of it, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to keep making the content, and the better the quality of the look and the sound of it are, the better the quality of the content overall. But something like the mixer that we've been showing, it's not just an analog to digital converter. It could be the mixer for a sound system at a fitness facility easily. All the head-worn microphone stuff, yeah, they're going to be great for head-worn microphones. Some of the microphones, like the lapel mics and these really sort of thin and discreet microphones, are great for small group training instruction. I wouldn't put it in a classroom that has 60 Zumba classes a week, because they're going to get sweat on, and it's not going to hold up as well as some of the other stuff. So that's why, I mean, the mixer set up with a wireless mic system, you can use a really fitness focused head-worn microphone, something that's going to be durable down the line, and use that in your stream if you've got a mixer. So there's that. A lot of people didn't have a setup to easily audit their classes before. So adding in a little like video kit like this, it's great. You're going to make the content now, but then when you go back to the club and you're teaching classes, now you have a really easy way to record yourself, get good sound and picture, and then be able to look back at what you did. A lot of group exercise instructors do that anyway. Some facilities record all their classes, and bang, now you've got a setup to record and have it sound good as well. Any last questions before we wrap up? We're closing in on an hour here. Probably a good stopping point.
Let's see if I have one here that, let's end with Dory Berman. I want to use my tablet to make the video using the camera from the back of it, as opposed to the selfie camera. Am I able to watch as I view and record it through my desktop laptop? So I want to monitor and record through my desktop.
Monitor on the monitor and record on the desktop, but use the tablet. Yeah, there are ways to do that. I'm just gonna say yes. However, it varies by Mac and Windows. It varies by iPad versus another style of tablet, and it varies by the recording software that you have. But I do know that yes, that's absolutely possible. But it may not be possible with every combination of tablet and computer and
Perfect.
software.
I think one of the key points here for a lot of people is there are so many variables to how you can be successful with streaming, that finding the best practices is what we really want to help you figure out. And so each situation might be unique and different, but we found some great standardized ways to really help you get to that point where you feel like you're successful and your clients are getting a benefit from the classes that you're presenting through the streaming service. I think that's one of the key things that we're passionate about as a company, is to make sure that you're successful, that you can help your clients in the long run. It helps our industry as a whole.
Yeah. So, just to wrap up, again, we're available. Our office is open, even though people are working remote in the office portion. We're on the West Coast, so our phone hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. Email is a great way to get in touch with us. That's probably the best way, sales@avnow.com. We can send out a link to participants. There's a little questionnaire you can fill out on our website about this topic. Let us know what you have, what your issues are, what you're streaming through. And if you want, we'll reach back out and we'll tell you, here's our recommendation. So that's one way. We've got live chat on our website. So again, like we said, we're here to help. We have tested all of this stuff just relentlessly, every combination of adapters that we could find. And we're constantly trying to find more stuff to solve these problems. So if you have a question, definitely reach out. And with that, I think it's, stay safe, and thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a great day.